case. Can we get back up in 560 now? Scott?
Thank you for watching Why I Killed You TV. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share this particular video in this YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about a senseless killing of two individuals, Nyteisha Lattimore and her son Nylo. Her life was taken in a tragic way. It was taken from her by somebody she once trusted, her 20-year-old on-again, off-again boyfriend, Deshawn Brown. He believed that she intentionally caused a miscarriage. Nyteisha was pregnant by Deshawn. Driven by rage and a desire for revenge, Deshawn didn't just take her life, he also took the life of her innocent 3-year-old son, Nylo. Nyteisha was 29. She was ambitious. She was a young mother. She was full of dreams. She also had recently been accepted to a medical assistant program, so she was doing things. She was ready to start college. She often posted online about her goals and her deep love for her son. To friends and family, she was a warm person, full of hope and determined to create a better future for her and her son. But behind her social media smiles, she struggled through a rocky relationship with Deshawn Brown. At one point, she became pregnant with his child, but sadly suffered a miscarriage. Rather than supporting her, Deshawn grew bitter. He was convinced that she had intentionally caused a miscarriage, and this caused a lot of anger that festered down inside of Deshawn. Friends and investigators say Deshawn had spoken about hurting Nyteisha after the miscarriage. Then on December the 5th, 2020, he acted on those dark thoughts. That day he went to her apartment. What happened inside of those walls still remain unclear, but it ended with Deshawn viciously stabbing her to death. He stayed in the apartment for days afterwards, using her phone to post on social media as if she were still alive. One post read, "I love him forever, Deshawn Brown." So disrespectful. The next day, he shifted his focus to 3-year-old Nylo. He strapped the boy into a stroller and walked him to the Ohio River. In a horrifying act, Deshawn threw little Nylo, still alive and strapped into the stroller, into the freezing water. Days later, he returned to the apartment, dragging Nyteisha's body down the hallway in a body bag, and called an Uber driver. He told the driver that he was looking to move some clothes. This guy was sick. He was sick all day long. Instead of tossing her body into the river, Deshawn left it near the edge of the Purple People Bridge. The following morning, December the 12th, a security guard noticed the bag and went to investigate. At first, he thought it might have been some decorations or even a mannequin, but when he nudged it and it hit the ground with a heavy thud, he realized it was something far worse. He immediately called 911.
Cincinnati 911, what is the address for your emergency?
I found a dead body. Somebody threw a bag, like on the edge of the bridge, and my curiosity got the best of me, so I got up there and knocked it down, and it was heavy. It hit the ground. It's like a body bag. Yeah, I'm almost 60 years old, and I've never had anything like this.
Police arrived and confirmed it was the body of a woman brutally stabbed. She was soon identified as 29-year-old Nyteisha Lattimore, who had been reported missing days later. But one critical detail made the case even more disturbing. Nyteisha had a 3-year-old son, and no one knew where he was. The homicide investigation quickly escalated into a statewide search for missing little Nylo. Crews mobilized instantly, including police officers, firefighters, volunteers, divers, helicopters, and K-9 units, all looking for little Nylo. People across the region shared their flyers and used hashtag #FindNylo and prayed for a miracle. Soon, grim evidence emerged. Blood matching little Nylo's DNA was found on a Palm Patrol blanket recovered with Nyteisha's body. His stroller later was discovered floating in the river. Despite search efforts covering nearly 180 miles of water through Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana, Nylo's body was never found. What began as a rescue mission became a recovery mission, devastating for everybody involved, especially little Nylo's biological father, Anthony Hughes, who clung to hope while fearing the worst.
I want to deal with not finding my son. Our son, me and Nyteisha's son.
He's holding on the hope that one day his son Nylo Lattimore will be found.
I'll be at the river and just be thinking, like, wow, my son. If I'm ever going to bury my son, there was no reason. No reason. There wasn't no serious reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, you know, she trusted him. And it's messed up in the mind that, you know, that he didn't understand that she trusted him. And, you know, even with my son, that it hurt me the most. I just want people, you know, don't give up on James, don't give up on Nylo, you know what I'm saying? Just always keep me in your minds and heart, you know.
As the search for little Nylo continued, investigators turned their focus to Deshawn. The evidence against him grew day by day. On December the 12th, Deshawn Brown was arrested and charged with the murders of not only Nyteisha but little Nylo. Additional charges included abuse of a corpse and tampering with evidence. Deshawn was already on probation for a misdemeanor assault case. While he was in court, he showed no remorse whatsoever. He was often combative and disrespectful, complaining about the media's presence, and he also refused to take responsibility for both the deaths of Nyteisha and little Nylo. Prosecutors announced that they would pursue the death penalty.
A mother killed, a toddler missing, and this Walnut Hills community desperate for answers.
Well, I just hope and pray they find this baby safe.
Neighbors say Nyteisha Lattimore and her 3-year-old son Nylo were inseparable.
She always had Nylo with her. They were never apart, ever.
Until last week when Lattimore was found stabbed to death near the Purple People Bridge, and Nylo was missing. Cincinnati police say December 4th is the last day anyone saw him. That's the day this neighbor, who asked not to be identified, saw the toddler and his mom in front of their apartment on Melrose Avenue in Walnut Hills. They weren't alone.
And he's sitting there right in the middle of it, and that Deshawn guy's holding him, and he's screaming at her and trying to hit her while he's holding her baby.
That Deshawn guy is Deshawn Brown, the man charged with murdering Lattimore. On the night of the fight in the street, a neighbor says she threatened to call the cops. Brown put Nylo down, left, and returned angry.
He seemed like he wanted to punish her because she wouldn't be with him.
Neighbors did not see Brown enter the locked building that night, but they never saw Lattimore or Nylo again either.
That was the last time I saw either one of them.
Police say after interrogating Brown, they now suspect foul play in Nylo's disappearance. They say his stroller was found near where Lattimore's body was discovered. Tough news for neighbors to hear, as Lattimore was often seen smiling, pushing Nylo down their Walnut Hills street.
In the same stroller that she was pushing that baby in, they found it at that river. It broke my heart.
And it broke a lot of hearts in that Walnut Hills community. I have to tell you, outside the apartment complex where they lived, there are several cameras. I asked neighbors about them. They tell me they're on a 5-day cycle, and Cincinnati police right now are not commenting on whether their cameras caught any footage of anything.
Father of Nylo Lattimore escorted by police out of the courtroom earlier today. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tricia Mackey.
Yeah, and I'm Ken Brown. We want to get you right into some video from earlier today. Take a look at this. It's the second time that he's been escorted out of the courtroom during a hearing for Deshawn Brown. Now, according to Hamilton County prosecutors, that is, Brown is accused of putting the body of 3-year-old Nylo into the Ohio River after stabbing the child's mother back in 2020. Volunteers and search crews have spent countless hours trying to find the little boy's body ever since. But Nylo's body has never been located.
So Mike Schell was in today's hearing. Mike, if he was in the courtroom today and he did that before, was there extra security in case he did it again?
There was, Tricia, a lot more Hamilton County deputies in the courtroom today. It got pretty contentious inside a Hamilton County courtroom today. Tensions between a man who is facing capital punishment and the father of a little boy he's accused of killing. Deshawn Brown is facing the death penalty for allegedly stabbing Nyteisha Lattimore to death and killing her 3-year-old son Nylo in December of 2020. His defense team says Brown is mentally ill and had a psychologist testify to back their claim.
He suffered from a severe mental illness at the time of the offenses charged, and that severe mental illness significantly impaired his capacity to exercise rational judgment.
Prior to the hearing, prosecutors spoke with Tonio Hughes, who is Nylo's father. Hughes was allowed back in the courtroom despite this episode the last time Deshawn Brown was in court. Hughes was seen attacking Brown before he was subdued. There were 6 deputies in the courtroom today to protect the defendant. Hughes glared at Brown throughout the hearing and interrupted the court during witness testimony. The testimony continued, but Hughes made another outburst and was escorted out of the courtroom.
Okay, go out the door. Go out the door. Thank you. Out the door.
Prosecutors then put their psychologist on the stand, who said Brown was mentally stable.
I did not find any evidence from speaking with him or the other collateral sources of information of any significant disturbances of thought, mood, orientation, perception, or memory.
Ohio law does not allow a person with severe mental illness to face the death penalty. Brown's attorneys say he is bipolar, which they say falls under the statute to define someone who is mentally ill.
As of April 25, 2025, Deshawn Brown has not yet been sentenced. His trial is scheduled to commence on October 6, 2025 in Hamilton County, Ohio. Brown faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of aggravated murder, tampering with evidence, and gross abuse of a corpse in connection with the December 2020 deaths of his girlfriend and her little 3-year-old son, Nylo. The prosecution is pursuing the death penalty, and the judge ruled that Brown is competent to stand trial and is eligible for capital punishment despite his diagnosis of being bipolar.
They hate you. You're gonna die. I don't want to do this.